I will tell you a story, but this is not a parable, not a lesson, not a warning. This is memory. I knew him before he knew himself. I watched him grow under the shadow of his Father's love. I heard his prayers when he was still too young to say my name. He was born into grace, but he didn't recognize the gift. Not at first. He didn't leave because he hated his father. He left because he was lost inside himself. He had questions that silence couldn't answer, desires that peace couldn't satisfy. He wanted more than sheep, more than quiet fields, more than the songs of morning. He wanted fire and noise, and the kind of freedom that burns bridges. He came to his father one morning with shaking hands, but his voice didn't shake. He said, "Give me my share of the inheritance." As if love could be portioned, as if grace could be earned early. The father didn't argue. He looked into his son's eyes and saw the decision had already been made. And so, with trembling breath, he let him go. He watched as his son packed everything that didn't matter and walked away from everything that did. He thought he was walking toward the world, but I saw it differently. He was walking out of protection, out of identity, out of peace. It started, as it often does, with gold, with smiles, with flattery. The city lights made promises that would never be kept. He was welcomed as a king, crowned with temporary pleasures, seated at tables that did not love him. Every stranger called him brother, until the money stopped, and it always stops. The friends vanished like smoke. The laughter turned into silence, and he was left, not alone, but empty. Emptier than the streets he wandered, emptier than the cups he once poured for others. He tried to work. But who hires a fool who's already lost everything? He begged, he pleaded, and finally he was sent to feed pigs. Unclean, unseen, unworthy, he slept in filth. He ate the husks they rejected. He spoke to animals who never replied. And that's when I heard him, not with his mouth, with his soul. He said, "So this is freedom?" And for the first time he saw what the world had really offered him. Illusion and chains. But something else happened in that mud. Something no one else saw. He remembered his father, not just his face, not just his voice. He remembered how his father prayed for him, how he smiled when he spoke his name. He remembered a love that never forced, never demanded, just waited. And so the boy made a choice, a quiet choice, a desperate choice. He stood up, knees shaking, heart shattered, hope barely alive. And he began to walk. He practiced the words, "Father, I've sinned against heaven and against you." He repeated them like a mantra, like a shield, like a hope. Not expecting restoration, not seeking forgiveness, only a place to kneel, a place to serve. But what he didn't know was that his father had never stopped watching the road. From the moment he left, the father rose each morning with the sun, stood at the gate, and looked out. He counted every shadow. He listened to every breeze. He waited, not just in hope, but in certainty. And when he saw the figure on the road, thin, bent, scarred by shame, he didn't wait. He ran. He ran like time itself had reversed. He ran like war was over. He ran like resurrection had arrived. The boy collapsed. He couldn't speak, couldn't breathe, but the father didn't let him fall. He caught him, he held him, and he wept. He didn't ask for an explanation. He didn't demand an apology. He didn't recount the debt. He said, "My son was dead, but now he is alive." He called for the robe, not just any robe, his own. He wrapped it around the son like armor made of memory, as if saying, "You are covered. not because of what you've done, but because of who you are. He called for the ring, not just any ring, the family seal, the kind that said, "You belong," the kind that marked him as heir again, not servant, even though he still smelled like the pigs. He called for sandals, because sons don't walk barefoot, not here, not in this house, not anymore. Then he called for the feast, and oh, what a feast it was! The music returned to the halls. The laughter echoed in corners once quiet. They brought out the fatted calf, the wine, the old songs. Every servant danced. Every candle was lit. Every shadow fled the room. But one man didn't enter. He stood outside, arms crossed, jaw clenched, eyes sharp like glass. The older brother, the one who never left, the one who never asked for his inheritance, the one who followed all the rules. He heard the music and didn't rejoice. He smelled the feast and didn't hunger. He felt the celebration and grew bitter. He said, "Why him? Why now? Why does he get music? When I got silence, he had been faithful, he had obeyed, he had sacrificed, and yet he felt invisible." So the father went out again. Yes, again. Because the father doesn't just run for the broken who return, he also walks out for the bitter who stayed. He said, "Son, everything I have is yours. But your brother was dead, and now he lives." But the elder son couldn't hear it because he didn't see his brother. He saw only the sinner. He didn't see a resurrection. He saw injustice. And I want you to understand this. Both sons were lost. One to the world, the other to religion. One ran from grace, the other resented it. But the Father loved them both because the house of the Father isn't divided by merit. It's held together by love. You who hear my voice now, some of you are still in the far country, still chasing gold that vanishes, still feeding pigs that don't love you, still thinking you must earn your way back home. And others, you've been near the house the whole time, doing good, saying the right words, following the rules, but still bitter, still jealous, still wondering why your celebration never came. To both of you, I say, come in. To both of you, I say, the door was never closed. I don't measure you by the distance you traveled, but by the step you take toward me now. I know what you carry, the smell of the pigs, the ache of silent faithfulness, the scars of rebellion, the coldness of routine, and still I wait. I wait at the gate. I walk into the field. I run down the road, because you are mine. You are not what you wasted. You are not what you did. You are not the rules you followed. You are a son. You are a daughter. You belong. And if you'll just turn, even slightly, even uncertainly, even with trembling breath, I will meet you. I will clothe you. I will restore you. I will celebrate you, not because you've earned it, but because that's what I do. I make dead things live. I turn shame into songs. I write joy where there was judgment. I know what you're thinking. You're not sure if this story could ever be yours, because you've wandered too far, because you've stayed too silent, because you've built your identity around your failure. But listen, I didn't tell this story to impress you. I told it to reach you, because I've seen what shame can do, how it builds walls around the heart, how it paints the Father's house as a courtroom, not a home, but the robe still fits. The ring still bears your name, and the sandals, they're still waiting by the door. There's a table prepared for you, not after you clean yourself up, not after you apologize perfectly, but now. You are not a burden. You are not an interruption. You are not a mistake wrapped in skin. You are the reason I came. Do you understand? I left heaven's feast so you could return to it. I wore your shame so you wouldn't have to wear it anymore. I bore the silence of rejection so you could hear the music of welcome. The Father isn't pacing in frustration. He's scanning the horizon, and the moment your soul moves, even slightly, he runs. And when he runs, he doesn't ask for explanations. He doesn't demand receipts. He just embraces and holds and sings over you like the day you were born. You think you know what awaits at home, but you don't. You expect a lecture. You expect punishment. You expect distance. But what you'll find is warmth, is joy, is me, because I've been waiting in every field you tried to hide in every city that forgot your name, in every night when your tears hit the pillow harder than your head ever could. I was there, and I never left. Even in your rebellion, I loved you. Even in your silence, I heard you. Even in your filth, I saw your future. You are not disqualified. You are not too late. You are not the one exception. You are mine. You are the son I spoke of. You are the daughter I imagined. You are the soul worth running toward again and again and again. So now, let me pray over you. Father, let this child know you haven't changed. Let them feel the robe wrapping around their wounds. Let them hear the ring sealing their identity. Let them sense the sandals welcoming their feet again. Let them taste the feast of grace. Let them know they're not too far. Let them see your eyes, not angry, but weeping with joy. And for the ones still hiding, still staring at the mud, still thinking the gate is locked, open the door, lift their face, guide their steps back to the sound of music and mercy. They are not forgotten. They are not forsaken. They are still called. They are still named. They are still home. Amen. This is not just a story. This is your invitation. And you don't need to earn it. You only need to receive it. Come home. Now, before the music fades, before the lies speak louder, before you start believing that the mud was ever meant to be your name, you are the son, you are the daughter, and the Father is already running.